seems just the same old routine. Blowing trees, writing these bars, line after line, mining for a diamond, but a dime is what I find. Hiding from the truth by simply coasting through these hard times with green, even though I'm feeling blue. But I gotta face the facts, girl, you know that it's true. And maybe what I'm supposed to do is not to get so close to you. But these days the only things that seem great are fading away, and the only time I feel home is when I'm alone or far away. But the road call says the wind blows, 10 missed calls on my flip phone, so it stays closed. Staring out my window while my mind slowly goes off into my headphones, hoping that the dough will be worth it for the show, but who knows? Yeah, let's go and roll it up, blow it all away. No sense in growing up, we laugh like kids all day, and there's nothing you can say that will ever make us change. No, we're never gonna change. And day after day, it's just the same old thing. Working class life, and yes, it surely will bring a food to the table and a roof when it rains. But for the most part, you're just doing the same thing. A part of a machine with a ball and a chain. You try to be happy, yet all you feel is pain. It's a shame to use your brain and know that someone never changed. But if insanity's the game, then you can take my hand and play. Life has a rhythm that I ride to, and you can come along if you would like to. And I can show you what it's like to walk in my shoes, to learn how to love just like I do. Look me in the eye and you will find truth. I'm testifying to the line in my mic booth. And you're hating on me cause I ain't like you, and I ain't like you. Yeah, let's go and roll it up, blow it all away. No sense in growing up, we laugh like kids all day, and there's nothing you can say that will ever make us change. No, we're never gonna change. Yo, my life is like a movie that nobody's producing. I write the music but nobody is moving, cause don't nobody care and everyone's confused, and the characters change and never reaching a conclusion. And I don't know if I'll make it to the end.
Look at me. We're on the radio.
We on the radio?
Yeah, on the radio.
You know,
welcome everybody to Kicking It with Koz here on Sunday, the 22nd day of March, man. Where did this month go?
It's been really going quick. I have to admit that. It really has been going quick.
I mean, I remember last year, like February, took like 6 months, and then the rest of the year just kind of cruised right on by.
Yep.
This year has been a complete shit show because of everything that's happening. So it's just, you know, every day is the same as the last, and it's like, you know, the hits keep coming.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we got a special guest today. At the top of the hour, Tim Klund. Everyone, you know, he's known as TK. He's the CEO of Verve Forever. He's going to be that's a CBD company. So Tim's just an entrepreneur. He's an extreme busybody, man. He's always involved in stuff. So, you know, from one year to the next, he could be doing something completely different. We met Tim. It was 2 years ago, a little more, maybe 2 years ago. We were in Frisco, Texas for the celebrity softball tournament.
Yeah.
And Spanky was up there, and one of her friends was up there, and we just kind of we converged on Frisco, Texas, and enjoyed a celebrity softball game between. It was oh my gosh, names just vanished from my head. It was Oklahoma or OU and the Longhorns down here in Texas, and they met in Frisco. Like they tried to do it this last year, but they got stormed out. There was like hail and death and destruction.
Oh, jeez.
So the game got called this year, or it was last year.
Yeah.
But the year before that, me and Spanky got to hang out up there, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about it and how cool it really actually was.
It was I've never been to that stadium before, so it was neat.
You had yourselves a good old time.
It was. I took my daughter with me, So that it was on a Thursday afternoon because she had ROTC lab that day. So I picked her up from lab. She changed her clothes real quick, and then we got on the road. It's probably an hour drive from where we were. Yeah, and we had a really good time, man. Had some really good junk food from the concession stand, and good. It was a good time. It was a really good time.
Well, I'm glad, and I'm glad we are actually familiar with TK, so it should be an interesting conversation. Like you said, he's actually going to be talking about his endeavors to get into the CBD market. So that ought to be interesting.
Right now.
What?
It's hot stuff right now. CBD is. I'm not sure if they've gone through a lot of like clinical type trials, but it just seems like everyone who uses it seems to have no bad words to say about it.
Well, and that's just it. I've been saying all along they need to do studies on it, and you don't hear of any studies. That's the interesting part. You really don't hear of any studies, and you'd think by now they'd say, well, maybe we should. So, I don't know. Well, Sancy, sorry to see you leaving, but thank you for showing up. Hello, Branco. Hello, Albert. Hello, everybody. It is great to see everybody. If we didn't say that, welcome to Kicking It With Koz. Koz is talking to you, and I'm the one who's got the ugly mug in front of you.
So anyway, going back to the celebrity softball tournament,
yes.
It benefits the Livin Foundation, the Toby Keith Foundation, and the Roger Clemens Foundation. So Toby Keith is the celebrity coach for Oklahoma, and the celebrity coach for Texas is all right. Who's that? That's my impersonation. Who says that?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't live in Texas, and I'm not as familiar with some of those people as you are.
You've seen movies and stuff. Matthew McConaughey, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't watch. I have to admit, I haven't seen that many movies with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, dude.
I know.
You'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Like I'm worried about being cool. Hello, Paintball Jake. Good to see you. Hello, Dick Odesse. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Branco, good to see you.
Look at all those people showing up.
Yeah, we got people coming in.
So I tried to do a show last night. That was kind of a wheels came off the bus there.
Uh-huh.
I was having so many tech issues, man. It was. I was very, very happy to see a lot of people turn out for it, but it sucked. In my opinion, it sucked. But I'm really glad that people were there.
Yeah.
In the suck with me. Thank you.
Hello, Kamo. Good to see you. Well, that's why you let me do the button pushing, huh?
Well, you know what? It's kind of a I'm a learner by doing. That's how I learn best. And I think if I did it more, I'd be a lot better at it.
Oh, okay.
So guess what's still going on?
What is still going on?
This COVID-19, man. And it's kind of getting worse. As it was expected. I mean, these cases were expected to spike, and they are spiking.
Well, it's not just that. You got to think, we really didn't have testing available. And now that we have testing available, we can confirm how many cases there really are versus
people are getting
guessing.
Tested. So there's going to be more positives. There's going to be more negatives too. So I don't know exactly what the test consists of. I know they probably lance something through your nose into the back of your throat.
I don't know the test. In fact, I was actually thinking about checking that out. From what I have heard, they've actually found that a lot of people who just thought they had a cold actually had the coronavirus, and that's why they're saying the numbers are going to spike for the next week or two, just because the labs are finally catching up to the backlog of running tests. They had a very big backlog.
I've got a friend that works down in a hospital down in the Fort Hood area, and she's an ER nurse, and she's completely frustrated at the number one, the lack of PPE for the healthcare people,
Yeah.
They're reusing gowns, reusing masks, which is not a good thing.
No, it's not.
And there's also people, my baby has the sniffles, she must have the COVID tested. And it's like, you're bringing your otherwise healthy kid into an emergency room with, you're surrounded by sick people.
Yeah. And if they didn't have it when they showed up, there's a good chance they have it when they go home.
or at least they've been exposed to it.
Exactly.
I think a good practice would be, monitor whomever in your family.
Yeah.
Rather than going to a doc in the box or an ER. And if you think something is up, go to one of the there's those drive-through testing stations.
Yep.
Are popping up all over the place.
They're in the bigger cities right now. Walmart has actually offered up their services and allowing people to actually go and put up those type of services on what they say. Walmart is one of them. Target was another. But they're offering part of their parking lots for that.
Here in Dallas, they got something going on at the American Airlines Center. Since they're not putting on any concerts or sporting events.
Yeah.
I think got some kind of a triage center set up there. I don't think it's inside. It may be outside.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's huge. Dallas has got a lot of cases.
Yes.
There was actually 2 deaths today, and I think 36 new cases just in Dallas.
The guys are making fun of me. Yes, I cough. No, I do not.
He doesn't have the COVID, man. He coughs year round.
I cough year round, my friends. I already have lung damage, so.
Boss said a guy in Arizona stole a bunch of the tests.
Yeah.
What? Why would you do that?
I'm sure just to sell it. Come on.
Sell it or give it to people. I don't know. I don't know what his motivation was.
And then someone, am I an introvert? I'm kind of an introvert. Now I don't have a choice. They actually closed my gym.
You've been training for this for years.
I have been. The gym.
And it's, and my parents are like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, Mom, Dad, I don't do anything. This is my daily life. I don't.
I know.
What I do go out and I do grocery shopping, but I don't do anything like really social out and about. So that's just that's just the way I operate, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, some people it's not really going to do much to you. With me, the only thing it means is I have to work out at home. And well, like I had told Koz, those of you who do follow me on John L, you will find that I cannot drive my truck during the day on the simulator because I can't access that computer. My wife has to have internet because she has been sent home because there were 300 people in her office. Now there's only 10. They sent everybody home who could go home.
Yeah, my job's kind of doing the same thing. If your job can be performed from home,
yeah,
then they're requesting that people that can do their jobs at home go home. And of course, that doesn't apply to me or my crew. All our stuff is hands on. So
exactly, and with
lab every day.
With my wife, she gets up, she does her job. She actually says it's more relaxing here at home than at work. So she's actually enjoying this time. And it just means I can't get on my computer until night.
See, I imagine that's pretty difficult for people. Great, you can do it at home. Mm-hmm. But you go home and guess what? If you have kids or small kids especially. And
that is actually
the problem.
That is actually the worry. They've shown studies where a lot of people are not capable of doing work at home because they're not capable of structuring themselves.
I've heard that, and it's just it kind of falls into the same category as like online education, college and whatever, taking college classes online. A lot of people can't do it because they don't have that. They don't have that structure.
Exactly. Michael, he just said he checked out getting on his local base yesterday, up to the base command if you bring anyone with you. And remember we were talking about getting on bases?
Shutting the base down, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, remember the ability to get on with VA cards now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Michael, that was always the one thing that the base had the choice on, was if people were allowed to come beyond just the person who carries the ID card. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And especially right now with coronavirus, I suspect they're going to want as few on as possible.
Limit your exposure. And it's not just you. It's everybody else. I mean,
exactly.
You might be young and fit and everything is going great, but that doesn't mean you can't be a carrier, an asymptomatic carrier. And then, since you're an asymptomatic carrier, that means that you can transmit it. And you're going to come in contact with older people, your mom and your dad, your grandparents, kids. I mean, it's just better off to stay at home. Ground yourself for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You're all grounded. Stay home.
And see, everybody would think, well, on base, everybody's young and healthy. Well, little thing here is a lot of people that go to the commissary aren't. A lot of the people that go to the commissary are retirees. And they're the ones that you have to worry about giving it to, actually. Mm-hmm. So, that's the type of stuff that you have to keep in mind, especially when going on base. They're not trying to limit you or say that you can't. They're just at this point, I'm sure they're being extra cautious. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if they're saying, you know what, you can come on because, well, we put that rule out there. But
there's an exception to every rule.
Exactly. And
even my boss says, your jobs are here. This is, if you guys feel comfortable coming into work, we keep a pretty good distance away from each other. So that's a good thing. They hooked us up with these 2 huge containers of hand sanitizer that we're all squirting on every day or, throughout the day.
Yeah.
We all eat separately and, it's just, we're good. We're good. But he says if one of you gets sick, he's shutting the entire lab down.
Oh, wow. Well, you can't blame him.
Stressed, if you're not feeling well, stay home.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys that works with us, he's got a cough kind of like yours.
Oh.
It's a little bit more phlegmy.
Okay.
He actually produces, what do they call it, sputum?
Sputum.
And my boss is kind of, it's like, okay, he knows that he doesn't have it. But it still makes him disconcerting that he's walking around our lab and then in the hangar area just coughing up a freaking storm. So he might make him stay home.
Well, get this, my wife had my gym not been shut down, had made me tags to put on my workout clothes to say asthmatic cough. Just so people wouldn't, because I had people looking at me right before the gym shut down, and one of the fitness trainers who's talked to me about it before kept telling them, no, this is a permanent cough for him. He has problems, but they were actually. You saw people. I actually got onto an elliptical. There were a person. 1 or 2 over from me on both sides on the ellipticals. And as soon as I started coughing, they left.
Well, it's like I mentioned last week. You don't like you want to socially distance yourself, so just start coughing. People leave. You're like, all right, got the gym to myself.
Well, and literally, they left. People behind me left. People in front of me left, and they all went over the counter. And they just kept no. He has an asthma hack. That's perfectly okay. He's very he does this a year round, and it's even worse in sometimes.
You said you mentioned that you were going to be working out at home.
Yep.
Over this weekend, Derek Weta, who has been a guest on a couple of our shows here on WTF Nation Radio.
Mm-hmm.
He's a CrossFit freak.
Okay.
The dude is just fit. Looks like a caveman, fit like a mother. The dude is a complete freaking unit, dude. This guy's just he's just fit.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got one leg, so he's injured in combat.
Yeah.
But he did a home workout video, and he's like, the only thing you need is your body, a little bit of motivation, and he like a couple of pieces of equipment, like a kettlebell and a couple of other things.
Yeah.
And he did a pretty badass workout.
Well, I tell people you don't even have to really do a hardcore workout. If you just do every hour, you do 10 push-ups, either do 10 either leg lifts, sit-ups, or leg lifts, or crunches, and then do 10 squats. Every hour that you are up, you will see an improvement in a matter of a week or so. Just doing that. It doesn't take much because it's not like you're doing that all the time. So it's a change. Hey, Daniel. Yeah, man. Thank you. Daniel says he has a sinus problem. He feels me. Michael brought up the POTUS has authorized GI bill payments for every vet stuck at home doing distance learning.
Yeah, they did, and that authorization goes through the end of the year.
There was a lot of things authorized this week, and a lot of people did things. Okay.
I'm not sure what all of them. There was phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 3 failed today, but phase 1 and phase 2 passed.
Yes.
Late last week. I don't know exactly what the details of those are.
No. What I have found is phase 1 and phase 2. One of them involves everybody in America getting a check. Actually, 2 checks, depending on your income, to compensate you just because you're not able to. You might have lost your job or whatever.
Well, what about the folks like myself?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't lost any time from work. My pay hasn't been cut. My hours haven't been cut.
You're still going to get one.
I think is that going to raise my gross pay at the end of the year?
Not really. We're talking, the most I think I heard was going to come out, it was $1,200 a month, or $1,200 in 2 payments, or $1,200 and then another $1,200. That's it. And that's the most. I think they said that the cap was anybody making under $150,000, and
that's me.
Yeah, I mean, it all depended upon if you were married and how much you made. But that's supposed to happen as soon as possible. But they're looking at sometime in April, getting the first check out. Also,
you know what? That money's going to go to pay for my kids' college education that they're not going to class right now. But the bills are still coming due.
Oh, I can't believe that.
You know what? President Trump did put a hold on student loan repayment.
Yeah, student loan repayments and interest.
That's cool. And I mean, even if he didn't, and I've done this before, when I was paying my student loans, they're paid off, thank God, now.
Yeah.
That was good. That took, let me see, I graduated college in 2001, and I made my final payment in late 2019.
Yeah.
About mid-year 2019, I made my last payment.
I remember you talking about that. You were so happy.
But anyway, when I was making payment, my account was in good standing.
Uh-huh.
But I got laid off. No, it was my divorce. When I got divorced, it was just like shit. It was a big shitstorm of money going this way and that way, and not really knowing what I had because I didn't have any normalcy. So I contacted my lender, and I just put in for what do they call it? There's a word for it.
Deferment.
It's like a deferment. There's another word for it, but it still accumulates interest, but you don't have to make any payments.
Yeah.
And I made rather than boosting the amount that I owed, I ended up making just interest payments every month. So when I got back into paying it in full, the full bill, there was no increase in my monthly.
Very good. Well, and
which is good. I mean, you got to be responsible with this stuff.
The one thing that
if they say, okay, yeah, you don't have to pay your student loan bills, okay, great, but you still owe that money. So don't piss that money away. Use it for necessary things.
Okay, Tim, we'll see you in about 50 minutes. Tim just dropped into the room and said, "Chat with y'all in about 50 minutes."
Great.
No, the one thing. Now, the one thing that is interesting. You're watching national versus state. Each state is reacting differently. Now, I don't know how Texas is reacting, but I don't like our governor at all. He is a radical liberal, but he actually did something I liked this week.
What's that?
You know how people have been governors have been caving into shutdowns, where they're shutting down everything and telling everybody quarantine, you are ordered to go home. Only the essentials are allowed to be open. Nobody can go against the order. You actually get fines if you do. There's New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and one other state that have done this so far.
California.
Okay. Inslee didn't cave. Everybody thought for sure he was gonna cave into the radicals and go ahead and do a shutdown, but he didn't cave, and I was so proud of him.
I'm not convinced that that's a bad idea. I really think that everyone should just keep to themselves, go out for the necessities, don't socialize. I mean, here in Texas, of course, schools are shut down.
Mm-hmm. Well,
some of the stores are closed up. All of the restaurants. And this kind of changed midday on, I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday, but it was you can only do takeaways.
Yes,
takeaway or delivery. And so I went to a restaurant, and supporting my local restaurants here.
Yeah,
and there was an issue because it had just changed, and there was a health department person there or a code compliance person there, and you can't walk in, order something, and take it to go.
Okay.
I had to download the app, and the thing is, the manager of the store came out and he goes, "Okay, here's what you got to do." down because he had to work. I swear to God, he was an E4 because he had to work around for everything. It was awesome. just download the app, go sit in your car, make your order. I'll bring it out to your car.
Well, that was nice.
And I said, "Right on, man."
Well, and that's just it. Is with a shutdown, you don't even get that. With a shutdown, all restaurants are closed, not even a takeout. With a shutdown, utilities stay up, food supply is there, government is up, and that's about it.
Yeah, there was a list of things here in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. He says these are the things that are still open.
Yeah.
Like number one was the jails.
Of course.
But they're not having court. So if you get arrested, and it's a violent act, you're going to be sitting in jail until this shit's over with.
Yeah.
I don't think violent offenders. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a statement, but I think non-violent offenders are just getting cited.
Okay.
With a court date will be pending. Let me see. The banks are still open. Grocery stores are still open.
Yes.
Some other. I mean, it's. I'm in the middle of a rehab right now in my house.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to go and buy some tile this weekend, and the place I was going to buy tile from, and I'm glad I checked out online. They're closed. You can order things and they can be delivered to your house, but you can't come into the store.
Yeah.
That was Floor and Decor, but you can go down to like Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can walk the aisles and get whatever. I imagine I really. I wouldn't be upset if they did a complete, stay the hell home.
Well, I'm of two minds about that. Okay, excuse me. I understand it would be helpful, but at the other hand, my wife works in insurance. Okay, Lena, there is a drive-through. There are drive-throughs.
Yeah, all of our stores that have drive-throughs are open.
my wife has been in contact with a lot of companies who they insure. And a lot of companies talk to companies, so on and so forth. It kind of goes downhill. What's coming down is a lot of companies said if they're forced to shut down, they will not be reopening. And it's the small companies. Because, and this is something that needs to be taken into consideration. And I think this is paramount to the thought is, okay, you can sit there and say, the president can sit there and say, I'll have loans available, I'll have this available, I'll have that available. Well, but it's still a loan. Okay? And it still means that you're going to have to pay it back.
Yeah, it's increased debt that
a small company
doesn't have a whole lot of revenue.
A lot of restaurants do not make that much of a profit. Most restaurants don't make much of a profit. There's a very thin profit line.
Oh, there's a saying. How's it? If you want to go broke, get into the restaurant business.
Exactly. The one thing that has been said by the president, he didn't put it in writing, and this is what he should have done. He talked about if you take out a small business loan to cover your payroll and to cover your workers and to keep them employed, at the end of this, we are considering rolling it into a grant, and it will not be considered a loan, and you will not owe anything. But he didn't put it in writing, and he should have, because had he done that, a lot of the smaller companies would say, fine, I'll go ahead and shut down because I'm covered. But they aren't covered otherwise, because insurance that was taken out to cover payroll was never, it's usually about places being burnt down or robbery, something of that nature. It does not cover pandemics.
I feel bad for people that are being sent home that don't have like the vacation saved up, or
exactly.
If they get sick, they don't have their, and I've worked a bunch of jobs, even in my current industry, not at the company that I'm at. The company that I work for right now treats us very, very well as far as vacation time and sick time and paid time off. But let's say, you're working at McDonald's or you're working at a grocery store or something. It's not you don't get a bunch of sick time.
No.
We're front loaded in the beginning of the year with 2 weeks of sick time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And plus, on top of that, we earn vacation. But everybody doesn't have that luxury.
No.
And saying luxury, and I mean that's really, that's really a good thing to have.
Well, and that's
for 2 weeks, and
that is the problem is right now, is everybody is in that position of, if the companies shut down, one, they're going to lose their workers because those guys can't afford the shutdown.
They're going to find other work.
Exactly. And then the second,
if you want a job, dude, go and apply at like Walmart or Target or something. They're looking for people. Domino's,
Walmart and Amazon.
And Amazon, all of those places are hiring heavy right now.
The biggest problem is if you're actually, excuse me, if at some point you actually, if you're an owner of one of those companies, you have to, at that point, look at, again, the president says, well, I'm thinking about going ahead and rolling it. If he said, I'm going to, and he puts it in writing, that's a whole different card than saying, I'm thinking about it.
Well, he can tell Congress what he wants, and then Congress has to put that in. The problem is Congress has to pass it, and nobody knows, like you said, what are in the first two bills that have gone through, and what didn't pass in the third bill? Why? What reason did it not pass? And that's what's going on. But no, my wife has said that there's a lot of companies coming back to the other companies that because she works with companies that are well funded and they do fine, but they talk to the smaller companies, and the smaller companies said if we are shut down, we're not coming back because we can't afford to keep our workers. We cannot afford to keep paying
for our office space. We can't afford to keep all these things and not be producing.
Right.
Hello, Bailey. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's just the GOP controlled Senate on Sunday today failed to move forward with considering a $1.4 trillion Phase 3 stimulus package.
Yes.
Intended to help businesses and families devastated by the downturn over coronavirus. The vote came while at least 5 GOP senators were in self-quarantine, including Rand Paul, who became the first U.S. senator to announce that he has tested positive for the virus. Okay. Senators were asked to practice social distancing and were given a list of health guidelines to follow while entering the chamber.
Well,
and it's all politics.
Yes, it is. So, again, there's a lot of insecurities right now, and Mr. Koz decided to try to cheer everybody up last night and had an interesting time.
It was a difficult time. And I did have some information I wanted to put out. And this is yesterday's numbers, so I'm sure the numbers have gone up today, but I think the trend is still about the same. So in the United States, we're, as of last night, 26,112 COVID-19 cases.
Okay.
325 deaths. And doing the math, that's a mortality rate of about 1.2%. Not bad.
No.
Right? The world numbers, 307,037 COVID-19 cases with 13,034 deaths. And that's a 4.2% mortality rate. Now look at Italy. Italy's gotten hammered.
Oh, bad.
Really, really hammered. They have, just in Italy, they have 53,578 cases with 6,557 deaths, which comes out to a 12.2% mortality rate.
And the one thing that I don't know if you've been listening to everybody's trying to deflect off of China, trying to say it's not China.
According to China, I mean, the news coming out of China is like, hey, it's over, everything's going back to normal.
Exactly.
I don't believe that for a minute.
No.
And even President Trump was just like, okay, I hope that news is true. He didn't slam him, but he's like, trust but verify type.
Well, what he's also doing is he's looking at the fact that people just realized a lot of our manufacturing is overseas, and we paid the price for that. Because at this point, we've run low on supplies because we relied on other countries to make us a priority versus their own country. And that did not work.
I think it's time to start bringing that the manufacturing of pharmaceuticals back to the United States. We don't need to be depending on countries that aren't friendly to us.
Exactly.
For life-saving medications. And
that's what has come about is they're now talking about bringing those, giving incentives to bring stuff back here. And then now at this point with things like Italy having their problems, and it's not just Italy. All of Europe is having a problem at this point.
Yeah, I read an article today saying Spain is on the verge of becoming what Italy is.
Yes. And
Italy is okay. Italy went into complete lockdown mode on March 7th or 9th. I want to say it was the 9th. And these are the spikes that they're seeing. Now, there's been some discussions online that I've had with some folks, and they were raising the question is Italy, and this is a fact, Italy has one of the top 3 or top 5 medical systems in the world. They're very, very good. They take care of their people.
Yes.
But they still have all of these cases. So I floated the idea that, well, they've got an older population.
They do.
And this isn't just common knowledge in my head. I actually did a little bit of research. And it's like 24% of Italians are over the age of 65.
Yes.
That's huge because in the United States, we're looking at like 14%, 15%.
It's a big difference.
And I also floated the idea they live in very close proximity to each other. There's 60 million people, 60,500,000 or so in Italy.
Yes.
but they're spaced out at about 500 and some change per square mile. In the United States, we have 300 and some odd million, 320 million.
Yeah.
And we're spaced out at about 82 people per square mile.
Well,
so we're other than of course, if you're in LA, you're going to be stacked on top of yourself or on top of your neighbors in New York City. But in general, on average, we're about 82 miles.
Have you been
82 people per square mile?
You've been stationed overseas, correct?
I have.
And how you're were you stationed in Europe or you were in Korea, weren't you?
I was in Korea.
Okay, and this is from living there. In Europe, owning property is not really possible. You pay the taxes are very high on property. So a lot of people, you will see generational, I don't know if you call them apartments or what you call them, but like there's 3 floors, and you'll see a generation in each floor. Okay?
Daniel Howard said in Germany there's no gathering of more than 2 persons.
Yeah. There's very... when they shut down Italy, they basically put everybody in their homes, and you're still talking 3 generations in one home. Mm-hmm. And most of the old folks, most of them have old folks in their homes because they've got such an old, like you said, they've got 24% of their population is older. And that is a lot of older people to get affected by this. And it doesn't take much to pass this virus around.
It really doesn't.
And they didn't lock down quick enough. And you could sit there and try to point fingers, but truthfully, had China been up front back in October when they locked down their military around Wuhan, they should have told us because they knew then.
Or at least let the World Health Organization know, hey, we got something going on here.
Exactly. Because then at that point, we could have stopped it from leaving. And this is my personal view, is I don't think it was intentional. I think it was a freaking mistake. Oh, no. I'm very sure it was a mistake. Whether or not...
And I haven't heard any corroborating stories, but they were selling... I mean, there was a level 4 research facility right there in Wuhan. Rumor, and I don't know if this is a fact or if someone was just saying that, but they were actually selling... the animals that they were experimenting on to the markets.
Well, that's just it. Nobody is sure, but the problem is there's the facility you're talking about was only a stone's throw away from that market.
Oh yeah.
And they're saying either an animal or a person who left work infected. And the question is, okay, China had the ability to stop it very quickly. They proved that.
Address it. Maybe not stop it, but address it. Let the world know.
The question is, did they decide this would, and I'm thinking as a Chinese government who has a very big population of people and is having a problem with their economy and keeping people happy, what harm in their minds, because again, they're communists, they don't think about everybody, they only think about certain things. What harm in their mind would it be to kill off part of their population by natural selection?
Yeah, I saw you're not seeing any protesters on the streets anymore.
Exactly.
It's kind of a sick way to look at it, but
it's the truth.
It's the fact. You don't.
You got to think about the fact that this actually puts China in a good position. Because at this point, their population goes down a little bit. They're the hardest hit. They took a lot. They've taken a lot of hits. Okay, and people are gonna want to leave the cities and go back to the countryside.
I kind of disagree. I think on a global scale, I think China's got their backs against the wall right now, because once this is over with, and it's going to be over with.
Oh, they're going to take a big hit in the manufacturing department.
Right. I mean, because I think globally, people are going to say, we should bring some of that manufacturing or some of the supply chain stuff back to the United States.
But they took a hit and maybe they wanted to take a hit. You got to think, they have to feed all those mouths. And they've got a very big population over there. And cutting down the numbers, I mean, you've heard about the movie, what is it, The Hunt, coming out?
I have not.
Okay. The Hunt is about a bunch of liberal elitists who are rich. They gather a bunch of us deplorables and hunt them down. The turnaround is, of course, that the deplorables turn around and actually find where the elitists are and they kill them. But the attitude that elitists who have money or people who are in power, like the communist regime, the attitude towards the normal people isn't necessarily a healthy one. They will sit there and go, you know what? If people die from this, well, that just means fewer people on the dole, fewer people on the healthcare system, fewer people that we have to worry about. It may have gotten out by accident.
China's got I'm looking at the numbers here, 1.386 billion are in China. And 81,000 of them came down with COVID-19, with a total number of deaths of 3,261. That's not even a drop in the bucket.
I understand, but at the same time, is it in their best interest to stop it quickly? And there's something I thought about. It's like, in their eyes, it's natural selection. It's kind of like, remember they have the one-child policy?
I thought that was lifted as of recently, like within the last couple of years.
Yeah, but up until just recently, the fact that they had that's the way they think.
Yeah.
Because, come on, just because it was lifted doesn't mean they still don't think that way.
Right.
Okay? So it's something to think about. It's something that has been on my mind because things can be let out by accident. That part I believe. But not stopping it quickly or intervening quickly, that is a calculated decision.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. Apparently, the one-child policy is still in effect.
China.
2015.
If you think about it, though, China is going to be playing damage control. They're sending out teams of medical personnel to Italy, and they're trying to look like they're good people. They're playing PR right now. But if they can keep it from being too bad, they're going to get. All they have to do is put their, say, okay, we'll just make our people work for even less, and they don't care.
Okay, about the one-child policy, it was abolished in October of 2015, but then now they're allowed to have 2 children.
Yeah. So you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Did that mentality really stop? And I don't think it did. Just my personal opinion, but just because you stop doing something doesn't mean you don't stop thinking that way. So, I don't know. That's my own conspiracy theory type thinking. I personally think that, China, they could have easily intervened and they could have easily kept this from spreading the way it did.
Yeah, hindsight,
Oh, I agree.
After a big mistake, you can go, wow, I should have done that differently.
Well, but the calculation, all they had to do was tell the World Health Organization. That's all they had to do. Instead, they locked down their own military first.
They jailed. One of the reporters that was reporting on this, saying, "Hey, there's something going on here." They arrested him.
Oh yes.
And then he ended up coming down with the infection, and then he died in the hospital.
Oh yeah, he's not the only one. There were 6 doctors, 6 Not just one. There were 6 doctors that tried to bring this to get this out, and all of them were jailed, and one of them died. Yeah, Michael, I know they have traditions, and I know it's all about saving face, but in the scheme of what do you do, or when you've got something this contagious, and you know the possibilities, you bring people aware, not because you bring people aware because you know that other people need to know about this, because they have to take proper steps. And instead of doing the thing that would have helped other people, they hindered any investigations into this. And they still aren't letting people over there to investigate. They're only sending information. They aren't letting anybody go over there to actually investigate. So
that's just the nature of the country right there.
Exactly. So I don't know. I go back and forth on this. And like you said, shutting down. So
what are you doing? What is Owl doing? I mean, you guys are pretty much staying at home, washing your hands a lot, and that's about it. That's kind of what I'm doing. I mean, I go out. I do go to work and I come home. I don't go out anymore.
No.
To different stores. I like going to stores and shopping for stuff for the house. I've kind of stopped that as of a couple of weeks ago. Washing my hands a lot. I wash my hands a lot at work.
Yeah.
My house is pretty clean, so I'm not worried about that. I'm the only person that lives in my house, so I'm good, I think.
With me, I didn't get out that much to begin with. I'm even getting out less. And now that my wife's home, it's not like she's bringing anything. The only person who's going anywhere is my son. And because of where he works, he doesn't have contact with most people. So I'm not in a position to where I'm really that worried about it. If one of my wife's coworkers came down with it, literally, I would probably move into the RV. Just because,
stay safe, yeah.
Just because it's a 2-week incubation period. In other words, if she were to find out that one of her coworkers has it right now, there's a possibility she has it. In another week, if one of her coworkers comes down with it, good possibility she doesn't have it.
Well, that's good though.
Yeah.
Now, shopping was interesting on when I went on Thursday after work. Just a lot of stuff that's not there.
Yeah.
There was plenty of milk. There were eggs, which is different because all the eggs were gone last week. Bread was gone. I couldn't find pasta. I really wanted. I went shopping for meat, and they didn't have any meat. But they did have these containers of. I bought some chicken meal, which was really good. It's bruschetta chicken.
Oh, okay.
And it was delicious. I had that for dinner tonight. It was awesome. But I found Italian meatballs. I'm like, I'm going to have spaghetti. These are monster meatballs. I'm like, this is going to be delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Went to go shopping for some pasta. Guess what? All they had was like the gluten-free garbage pasta, and they had lasagna noodles.
And that's mainly because things that don't go bad.
Yeah.
With us, this is funny. We went into Yolks, Friday. And other than toilet paper, they had everything. They had everything.
That's really good. I mean, some stores now are saying, okay, we're limiting the amount of things that you can buy.
Yeah.
Which I think they should do.
Yes, I agree.
And I think that should be up to the store. I think the store ought to make that call. Don't wait for the damn governor to come down and say, okay, you can only have 1 pack of toilet paper and 5 cans of whatever, soups. Yeah, all the soups were gone.
See, there were a lot of soups.
It was weird. It was really weird.
There were a lot of soups at the Yolks too.
The freaking Yolks shopping then.
So where I'm at, we're not having that problem.
It's a long ass drive to find food.
I did hear that truckers are having an interesting problem getting their trucks unloaded. In other
Because
words, the commerce is there.
Because the workforce isn't there?
Because the workforce isn't there. People who were trying to deliver at 8 o'clock in the morning didn't get their stuff taken care of until like 3 in the afternoon.
I don't know, man. I don't know a truck driver that doesn't also drive a forklift.
You still have to be able to get it into the warehouse. You still have to be able to have a place to get it, and it has to be someone has to take and receive it. So someone has to do the count, and someone actually, even though you may have a forklift, someone still has to take it and put it somewhere.
I get it, but I mean, this is kind of interesting time, so you need to you got to adjust fire.
I agree.
Can't just wait.
Oh, this is funny. Michael, I agree with you. Michael says, I find it funny, in the middle of the pandemic, nobody wants gluten-free.
Right, and all of the, and I noticed all the cleaning supplies, everything that's there is the natural.
The natural stuff, right?
All the natural stuff is still on the shelves, man.
And that's that's something we noticed too, is all the healthy things for you, all the things that you are doing for the good of you, nobody is buying.
I did. I mean, on my list, I'm like, okay, if I get this thing, it's I need to have some kind of a decongestant. So I went and bought. I mean, I spent like $40 on Mucinex. Mm-hmm. And that was a daytime and a nighttime.
Yeah.
Supply. So it was like all shrink wrapped together. So there was a daytime bottle and a nighttime bottle, and that was like $20. Okay. So I bought 2 of those. But all the other stuff I just had to adjust my schedule. I ended up buying some California kitchen pizzas, and I freaking forgot them in my trunk. I emptied out my trunk, and they were kind of in the back. I didn't see them. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I remember buying these pizzas. That sounds really good. What did I do with those?
And they were already defrosted.
If it was like a veggie pizza or something, I would have been fine with it. But it was chicken. It was a garlic chicken pizza.
Oh yeah.
And so I threw them in the freezer, and I'm going to throw them away on trash day.
No, we have to adjust. And come on, we were in the military. We know, adapt.
All the people that aren't freaking out about this are veterans.
Yeah.
We're just kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks.
In fact, I know some veterans that are like, bring it on.
We'll make do.
Yeah. My wife, she was, her and her coworkers were getting her to worry, and I managed to get it to back down. Because I mean, they were all, everybody, you go in there, they were all like, oh, did you hear this? Did you hear this? Did you hear this? And the whole time I'm sitting there going, she'd come home and she'd say, honey, don't panic. It's the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah, because it's contagious.
Yeah, we have enough food for 3 weeks. Now we're down to 2 weeks, but we're fine. And food is going to be there. The people that are panicking are going out and grabbing stuff. In another week or so, all those shelves are going to be filled back up because there is commerce. The truckers, they're already quarantined in their trucks. They can drive. So there's going to be supplies. That's the one thing you guaranteed. There is food, and it is always going to be there. It may take a little time, but it will get there. So you can't let that type of stuff get to you. Yeah, Michael says we vets know how great MREs are. Exactly. Kamo Boss says, I haven't even looked at my reserve food yet. See, and that's just it. It's not, nobody's in danger.
You know what's funny? My daughter, she moved out. She moved up to Montana, and one of the things that she left behind was a ratatouille MRE. So that's my if everything is gone, Kaz is going to eat the ratatouille.
Albert says they don't have eating problem. They just have too much time on their hands. And I agree. That is probably the biggest thing. Sending all those people home was That's the other problem you have to worry about, is they have too much time on their hands, and a lot of these people live for drama. And so they're going to the most outrageous news outlets and going, oh, that's what this people said, and they're spreading it. And like you said, it's contagious. Panic is contagious. It really is. So anyway, it is getting to the top of the hour, if you didn't notice.
It is 8 o'clock.
And
now is a really good time to change from your daytime pajamas to your nighttime pajamas.
We're going to give you 10 minutes to do that, and please, no pictures. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we get back, we will be seeing TK, Tim Klund. He is going to be talking about, and I'm going to really go quickly up here. He's going to be talking about his entrepreneurial endeavors in the CBD oil, Verve Forever. So we will be back in approximately 10 minutes. Stick around, please. It will be some good conversations and some good information coming out. See, for everybody, say good night to Koz. He's going to go eat and walk his dog because he has to work tomorrow morning.
Yes, I do.
So see you in 10 minutes, everybody. Shots.
Before coffee on a Tuesday, it's already been a bad week. My girls had a couple flats, and my dishwasher's full. From the kitchen, her complaining, you know it just ain't cute anymore. I get the itch, starts drifting towards the great outdoors. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods upon the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. I just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. Junk mail don't come out there, my phone won't ring. The only thing I want to hear is my reel with a big one on a string. That large mouth don't talk at all, and my weight just sinks away. Set him free, bring him home. One decision I gotta make. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods upon the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. Just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. I got my tackle box in the front seat and my best friend in the bed. Don't come looking for me, 'cause I ain't coming home till long after that sunset. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. I got the rods in my garage down on the wall. Threw my John boat in the truck, filled my camo cooler up. I hit the reset, hit my spot, and heated that car. I just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. No, I ain't gone missing, I've just gone fishing. Let her know that I ain't gone. it seems just the same old routine. Blowing trees, writing these bars, line after line, mining for a diamond, but a dime is what I find. Hiding from the truth by simply coasting through these hard times with green, even though I'm feeling blue. But I gotta face the facts, girl, you know that it's true. That maybe what I'm supposed to do is not to get so close to you. But these days the only things that seem great are fading away, and the only time I feel home is when I'm alone or far away. But the road call says the wind blows, 10 missed calls on my flip phone, so it stays closed. Staring out my window while my mind slowly goes off into my headphones, hoping that the dough will be worth it for the show, but who knows? Yeah, let's go and roll it up, blow it all away. No sense in going up, we laugh like kids all day, and there's nothing you can say that will ever make us change. No, we're never gonna change. And day after day is just the same old thing. Working class life, and yes, it surely will bring a food to the table and a roof when it rains. But for the most part, you're just doing the same thing. A part of a machine with the ball and a chain. You try to be happy, yet all you feel is pain. It's a shame to use your brain and know that someone never changed. But if insanity's the game, then you can take my hand and play. Life has a rhythm that I ride to, and you can come along if you would like to. And I can show you what it's like to walk in my shoes, to learn how to love just like I do. Look me in the eye and you will find truth. I'm testifying to the lying in my mic booth. And you're hating on me cause I ain't like you, and I ain't like you. Yeah, let's go and roll it up, blow it all away. No sense in going up, we laugh like kids all day, and there's nothing you can say that will ever make us change. No, we're never gonna change. Yo, my life is like a movie that nobody's producing. I write the music but nobody is moving, cause don't nobody care and everyone's confused. So the characters change and never reaching a conclusion. And I don't know if I'll make it to the end, cause all I know is after we begin, the wind shifts us in many different directions. Like the pen lifts up off the paper, disconnected from anything we can feel, hear and see. And the words that I write mean something more than just to me. It's amazing that we've all grown accustomed to change, cause we can rearrange a pattern that's always been ingrained. They want us to grow up and stop acting how we want, but if you tell me I can't do something, I'll make sure it gets done. Yeah, let's go and roll it up, blow it all away. No sense in going up, we laugh like kids all day, and there's nothing you can say that will ever make us change. No, we're never gonna change.
WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
All right, everybody. No, I knew the camera was on, and no, I don't have the coronavirus. I was just enjoying myself, guys. Trying to remind everybody, keep your arms moving, keep your legs moving, don't become sedimentary. The person who sang that song, the last song, was Luke Humphrey, and that song is actually Never Change Feet. No, Luke is actually the guy who sang the song. So anyway, we do have a guest. Let me go ahead and get over here to my magic phone, and let's call him in, and let's get the interview started, everyone.
Hey guys,
Hello, TK. How are you?
doing great. How are you doing?
I am in an excellent
Hold on,
mood.
I'm sorry. Let me get. Hold on.
You ready? You ready for your hour?
Let's go, baby.
All right. All right, everybody. This is Mr. Timothy TK Klund. He is a United States Air Force veteran and is regarded as one of the top industry leaders as a relationship specialist in the world of corporate and sports marketing. But
What's going on tonight, family?
What?
What's going on tonight? Come on, we know. People know who TK is. We can get this party started.
All right, there you go. That's what I wanted to hear. All right,
can y'all hear me all right?
Let me turn you up a little bit. Go ahead and talk again.
Is that better there?
There you go. There you go.
There we go. All right, game on.
All right, everybody.
How you guys, man? It's been a while since I've been on.
Yeah, it has
the
been.
Show.
It has been. I remember you being on, and some of our staff going down to actually watch the baseball game that you were a part of.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from you much since. So I heard now you are pushing into the endeavors of CBD oil.
Well, there's a couple of things. Being a veteran and working in the veteran community. One of the things about me probably more than anything on a daily basis.
Hold on, TK. Watch your position of your mic to your mouth because you go.
Okay,
there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So one of the things that bother me probably more than anything on a daily basis is the fact that 22 to 27 veterans are committed suicide. And I get numbers from all over the place on, again, ranging from 22 to 27. Our law enforcement first responders are around 14 a day. On a national average, it's 129 a day. A couple of veteran friends of mine who are already doing some CBD stuff came to me and wanted to get their company involved with some of our celebrity events and things we were doing. And I was like, oh, absolutely, when it went legal in 2019. And after 3 or 4 weeks of going back and forth, my partner and I just kind of rallied up. It's like, hey, you know what? Why don't we just create our own brand? That way we can control what we want to do in helping individuals. And so we did. We ended up coming out with VerveForever.com in July of 19. So we've just been open. April 1st will be our 10th month in business, and it's been phenomenal. We've had a lot of celebrities and veteran celebrities that people consider as ambassadors for our product.
Yeah.
And our biggest thing is I'm just trying to do what we can do to help people get off the prescription medications. I think that's the number one cause for everything going on in the United States with suicides, not just in the veteran community, but a lot of my retired NFL players. You don't hear about them. You don't hear about them like the veterans. You don't hear about them unless you're the top, 1 to 10% of the NFL that commit suicide. But belonging to the NFL as an honorary member, I get an email on a regular basis.
TK, 2K, do me a favor. I don't know if you're looking around when you're talking. Try to keep your focus.
Nope.
For some reason,
not to move at all.
For some reason, when you start going into explanations, it fades. Okay,
can you hear me now?
I hear you perfectly right now.
Okay, I'm going to go straight stone cold. I'm not even going to blink.
There you go.
So that's the reason why we got into it. And we've actually made a lot of people very upset at us in the CBD industry because we give all of our products to our veterans, first responders, law enforcement, and their families at 50% off.
Okay.
All the time. All they have to do is go to VerveForever.com. We don't even want their information. They can use the code VET50, all one word, or LAW50, all one word, and they'll get their products at 50% off all the time, 24/7, 365. So that's our commitment back to the veteran community. We have a CBD side of our house, but that's not really what we do. We actually have another product coming out at the beginning of, at the end of this year in December, we'll start running all of our commercials nationally on the product that we're getting ready to drop in the performance and wellness industry. But again, while we were getting ready for that and getting that put together and working with our industrial design group and, our manufacturers and our fulfillment centers. And CBD just kind of fell in our lap, and we were like, hey, let's take the lead on this and let's start pushing it out. And because of the coronavirus, we actually have just now given 50% off to everybody, because I've gotten a lot of emails in the last 10 days from people outside the veteran community as well, saying, hey, struggling financially right now. I really need my CBD. Is there anything I can do? Can I make payments? And we just said, you know what? It's 50% off for everybody until further notice.
Okay.
Whatever we got to do to help. I just can't have people taking these prescription meds anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Now, have you been a part of the CBD industry? Do you understand all the differences? What kind of CBD do you do? Are you offering full spectrum, hemp base? What do you offer?
Yeah, we do both. We actually, what I did is, I really don't want to be in the CBD industry. Okay. I want to be able to help. And there's a lot of crap out there on the market. So what I did is went right to the farm in Colorado, one of the number one suppliers in the United States. I started talking to all these different companies, and they're like, well, these guys are top suppliers. They're the ones that, you want to buy your stuff from. They'll ship it directly to you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want it shipped to me. I don't want to, I want somebody that will do everything from A to Z. Mm-hmm. All I have to do is bring the people to buy product. And so I went to the farm in Colorado, and originally they were like, yeah, we're not going to be able to do that. And by the time we got done visiting the farm, having lunch, they were like, yeah, we're in. We'll do it.
Okay.
And so that's how we got started. So everything, we can actually track all of our CBD, or the customers they can go on our website and look under About Us, and they'll see that we have our certificate analysis on there. So they can actually see basically the born on date for all of our products.
Good.
But since it comes directly from the farm, they can track it from the seed to the actual bottle that they have in their hand. And going back to your original question, yes, we do offer full spectrum, which has, the legal THC amount, 0.3%.
Yeah.
And then we also have the zero for individuals who are worried about THC. And speaking with the people at the farm, they're like, chances of somebody, coming up with a positive urine test is super, super, super slim.
Yes.
Not saying it can't happen, but it's almost, they'd almost have to drink a whole bottle before they would come positive with such a little amount in there. But not saying that it couldn't happen, but if you're in that position where you're kind of like on that fence post of, I really don't want to take the chance, but I need the help, then the zero product's for you. The other thing we don't do is we do not go below 1,000 milligrams.
Okay.
There's a lot of people sell 150, 250, 500, 350, 750. And what we found in working with the farm and just, doing our research and doing studies, and, we work with epileptic community. I work with the Down syndrome community. I work with the autistic community. I work with the athletic community. My mom, who has Parkinson's, she's 73. It's been amazing what it's done to help her.
Good.
And then we also have the veteran, just talking to a lot of veterans. And we spent 6 months and a lot of money doing our research and talking to people, educating ourselves, really looking at this from a lot of different angles before we were like, hey, let's get into this.
Yeah.
So, again, we're a little bit different than everybody else. We don't do the gummies. We don't do the pills, the capsules. And I know a lot of people like that stuff, and that's awesome. But, again, we want to make sure people, when they make an investment and purchase one of our products, they actually get ROI for their money they spent.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, a lot of people are like, yeah, I try CBD, didn't do nothing for me, blah, blah, blah. And my first response is, where did you buy it? And what was the amount on it? Do you remember? And most of the time it's from a health food store, a kiosk at the mall. There's just so much. It's oversaturated, this market.
I agree.
That most people don't even know what they're getting. They don't even understand what they need to be buying. But my wife and I were, I would say pretty healthy, on the above average for both being 50 years old. My wife is super organic, and we both exercise daily, and she eats right. I'm a little bit caught up in the Little Debbie. I'm hooked on Little Debbie. So
you like your sugar.
The Little Debbie products, I'm hooked on their products. So besides the Little Debbie, I'm pretty healthy myself. But we both take the 4500 Zero.
Yeah.
it helps her sleep. It kind of helped her pre-menopause with aches and pains and hot sweats and all that throughout the night. And really for me, it's just, all the years of destroying my body in sports, and then having a, NFL trainer, ex-NFL trainer who tries to kill me every day, just helps for, when my body starts aching and stuff at night, helps with that so I can sleep like a baby and I don't get any of that stuff during the night. So that's what we use it for. I'll take 3 drops before I go work out sometimes. So I'm still a little sore, 3 drops right after to help with inflammation. And then we have the recovery cream that is phenomenal. We have the 1,000 milligram, 2,000 milligram in it. And we have the V-tape, which is